This is Frank Islam, Chairman and CEO of FY Investment Group and your host of Washington Current Review, where we interview leading voices from business and politics that impact you, the viewer. Today, our guest is our Commonwealth of Virginia Lieutenant Governor, Ralph Northam. Ralph, thank you very much for coming. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me, Frank.
Wonderful. So tell me, why do you want to be governor?
Well, let me just say, first of all, thank you for having me. I have an interest in India. My medical partner of 30 years is Punjab. He's Sikh from the northwest of India.
Oh, okay.
So we've had a great working relationship and just a dear friend. So our country was formed with immigrants.
No question
and this
about
is very important to me. So I appreciate you having me on your show today.
And obviously that's an attack. The media is an attack. The immigrants are an attack. The Muslims are an attack.
Yes.
We have entered into dark and dangerous chapter in America.
We have. Frank.
So I want to talk to you a little bit about why you're running for the governorship.
Yes.
What do you bring to the table, and what do you have that your opponents do not have it?
Oh, sure. Well, thank you for that. And first of all, I bring service. I've been in the Senate for 6 years. I represented the 6th district, which was the Eastern Shore, which is where I'm from, half of Norfolk, a little bit of Virginia Beach, and then up in Matthews County. So I did that for 6 years, and I've had the privilege of being Lieutenant Governor for the last 4 years.
So you're ready for the next hike?
Absolutely.
Next challenges in your life?
Frank, we have been focused for the last 4 years on economic opportunity for all Virginians, no matter who you are, no matter where you are in Virginia.
We are in this together.
Yes, we are, and we've had some very good results. We brought in over 192,000 jobs to the Commonwealth of Virginia, over $15 billion with a B dollars of capital investment. Our unemployment rate has gone from 5.4 to now 3.9. It's the lowest that it's been in the last 9 years. It's the lowest in the south of this country. So, I'm proud to be a Democrat, and good things happen when we elect Democrats.
So the question is, Ralph, you want to build upon this thing. So those are the accomplishments of the McAuliffe's and Northam's administration, Commonwealth of Virginia. So you want to build upon it. So what do you, when you get there to be the governor of Commonwealth of Virginia, which is a privilege, there's no question about it. And I'd love to have that privilege, but unfortunately I will not have that. What do you bring to the table? What are you going to do to build upon it?
Frank, it's twofold right now when we listen to people across the Commonwealth of Virginia. We're watching closely what's going on in Washington. It has been an embarrassment. It was a campaign last year that was run off of bigotry, hatred, discrimination, fear, a lot of misinformation. So Virginians, there's been an awakening. Probably not only Virginia, but across this country. We're not going to tolerate what we saw in Washington, what we saw in that campaign as being the new normal. So
But he won.
He did, but Virginians
did not vote for him.
Yes, Virginians want a leader, such as myself, that will stand up against what's going on in Washington and keep that from influencing Virginia. That's the first thing. The second thing, Virginians want someone that knows how to lead, that knows how to promote jobs across the Commonwealth, that knows how to make sure that Virginians have access to world-class health care, to world-class education, that we live in safe communities, that we're an inclusive Virginia, that we welcome people, our lights are on, our doors open. That's what I bring to the table.
So these are the kind of things you're going to be doing for the next 4 years.
Absolutely, yes.
You're going to build upon that.
Yes.
But obviously there are some challenges when you are the current administration. People are going to throw stone at you. Say, well, you haven't done anything, how would you go about to making sure to tell the Republican Party that I was Lieutenant Governor, I'm proud of that, this is what we have done, that's what we intend to do for the next 4 years when I get to the to the mansion or whatever that is.
The governor's mansion.
The governor's mansion, yeah.
That's right. Well, I think if you look at my record, Frank, I know how to get things done in Richmond. I've been there for 10 years.
You like bipartisan, you want to get the support from Democrat, Republicans, all?
I believe very strongly in my principles and values, but I don't have a monopoly on ideas.
That's exactly right.
So I'm a listener as a doctor. And one of the examples is the smoking ban in restaurants. You can now go into a restaurant in Virginia and not be exposed to secondhand smoke. That's my piece of legislation. I did that in 2008. I did it by working with both sides of the aisle, bringing folks to the table just like this, and at the end of the day, doing what's in the best interest of Virginia. So, I've got great relationships in Richmond, and, I'm ready to take Virginia to the next level.
To the next height.
Yes, sir.
And okay, so are you going to be running against the Republican candidate? And whoever that is, I'm not sure there are a lot of candidates out there.
Yeah.
You still have a primary challenge
Absolutely.
there. You want to make sure that you win that first.
That's right.
Are you going to be running against the Trump administration? Are you going to be running against the Republican Party or the Republican candidate or all of the above?
Well, I'd say probably all of the above. Like I just, like I just described, we need to keep what's happening in Virginia. I mean, the cuts that have been made potentially to the federal employees, especially in Northern Virginia and Hampton Roads.
That's going to have a strong effect on the Virginians.
That's why I say since Mr. Trump has been in Washington, there has been an awakening. People are coming up saying, how can I get involved? What can I do to help? And our job as Democrats, our job running this campaign is to harness that energy, connect the dots, and make sure that we take it to the polls on Election Day. That's the way we win elections. And that's what we're going to do on June the 13th and on November the 7th.
Okay. So what are the things that the Virginians are concerned about this administration's philosophy and approach? Obviously, you heard the Muslim banning, which hasn't gone very well.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. It's also wrong and unconstitutional and shameful. This is not who we are. Those are the values of America. That's what the people say.
Absolutely.
There's a conflict of interest of his business is also. The third thing is about I just heard reforming the criminal justice system in terms of the police reforms. Also, all the things that EPA is doing, which is clean energy and so on, they're putting about.
Another great example.
So there's many issues. So how are you prepared to make sure that when you become the governor, you will fight for the Virginian to make sure?
Sure. That's a great question. And, I have fought for women's access to reproductive health care. As you know, I'm a pediatric neurologist. So
I did not know that.
Yes, I'm a physician. And so I led that charge on the floor of the Senate to keep that transvaginal ultrasound bill from going through. I've fought against the trap laws that make it more difficult for women to access reproductive health care. I've fought to make sure that we have our doors open, our lights on in Virginia, that we're inclusive. And a great example of why it's so important to have a Democratic governor, if we didn't, Terry McAuliffe yesterday, just with our help, vetoed 111 pieces of legislation that, if not for a Democratic governor, we would be like other states, like North Carolina. North Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yes, and as you know, they lost the NCAA soccer tournament.
Yes.
They lost the NBA All-Star game. They've lost now millions of dollars in revenue because of their discriminatory.
But they got a governor who's the new one, who's the Democrat.
Yes, and they're working on it, but they've still got a Republican legislature.
So they got to repair all the damages that occurred.
That's it, right? They've still got their hands full down there. But the point is that we don't want to be like North Carolina. We have to be inclusive, whether it be for immigration, whether it be for someone's sexual preference, whether it be their religion or the color of their skin. Our doors are open, our lights are on. We welcome people to the Commonwealth of Virginia, and as a business owner, that's the way you run a business. You have to have your doors open, and you cannot discriminate.
So you're looking for economic mobility for all.
Absolutely.
Regardless of who they are, color, creed, religion, race, background, and belief. You believe in inclusive economic growth.
That's right.
When they succeed, all of us succeed. State of Virginia, in the Commonwealth of Virginia succeed, and America succeeds.
Absolutely.
Is that what you're?
We want every job in Virginia to be a good job, and that starts with paying our labor. The current minimum wage is $7.25. You can't support yourself, much less your family. So we need to raise the minimum wage in Virginia. We're talking starting at $15. That's one of the things that we feel strongly about.
Do you think that will help in economic inequality and justice that we have in America? It's not the economic inequality; it's a gender inequality, opportunity inequality in America as well.
Yeah, no, we know that, again, getting paid $7.25 an hour, what that does, Frank, you have the haves and the have-nots. We don't have a middle class. We need to focus on bringing our middle class back, taking care of labor.
And the working class,
Absolutely.
Americans.
That's the backbone.
They build the backbone. They build our economy.
That's exactly right. That's the backbone of our
economy.
What
would you tell the people in the Commonwealth of Virginia, people who have been affected by the globalization?
Yes.
The jobs have gone to the overseas because the corporation is there to make profit. They're not looking for. They don't have a social responsibility. They don't think they're not part of the community. They don't think they're they're doing a favor because they're looking for to
Sure.
make money. What did you tell them? And number one, number two, what did you tell the people who are in coal mining industry?
Yes.
And guess, as you know, Trump campaigned for the champion for working class, bring the job back over here with the coal mining industry and so on, restart the whole thing. What
Yeah.
did you tell them?
Yeah, well, I'd ask those people.
You're the person who will take care of them. You will have a short message for them.
Well, the first thing I'd say is, how did that work out for you? Mr. Trump sold
Exactly.
you all a bill of goods, and he's not delivering on anything that he promised. But Frank, what we know and what we've been so focused on in Virginia, the jobs of the 21st century are really in what we call STEAM-related areas: science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math. Things like
and healthcare.
Absolutely. Things like cybersecurity, unmanned aerial systems, which we call drones, biotechnology, data collection, data analysis. These are the jobs of the 21st century. So we have worked very hard with our colleges, universities, community
And the
colleges.
community colleges. right.
Absolutely. Bringing skills to jobs, training the workforce of the 21st century. And so we know that we have thousands of unfilled high-tech jobs, and you don't necessarily need a 4-year education.
Exactly.
We
You don't
call-
need a PhD to do
Yeah.
that job, right?
So we call them new-collar jobs. They're not blue-collar, they're not white-collar, but they're jobs that we call new-collar that you can get trained for coming out of high school and perhaps a 2-year community college or an apprenticeship and walk into a very
and
good
you're
paying
going to
job.
help them, these
Absolutely.
coal mining people who have given their whole life by struggling and sacrificing. They know their jobs, some of the jobs are gone.
Yes.
They're not a clean energy. You help them to
Absolutely.
make sure they have a future in our country. We are in this together.
Well, one of the advantages I have, Frank, I'm from rural Virginia, as
Yeah,
you
so
can
you
probably
understand
tell.
their pain and agony
I understand
and
rural
sacrifice.
Virginia. So we have to redeploy, those workers that have been in the coal mines.
And you're going
that-
to retrain them?
Well, I think some of that's retraining. That when you're 55 or 60, I'm not sure people are that open-minded to retraining, but we can certainly.
you will give them the opportunity to.
Absolutely, we can redeploy them. Now, the younger generation, we need to make sure that they know that there are other jobs, these STEAM-related jobs that we need to work toward. A couple other things I just want to mention about
Sure.
rural Virginia. It is unacceptable, Frank, that we have so many pockets across the Commonwealth of Virginia that don't have access to broadband. That's something that we need to all work on.
And you want to do that?
Absolutely, and we've been working on that. We still have some work to do. Cell coverage. I mean, we all use these cell phones. If you go to pockets of Virginia that don't have access to cell coverage, your hands are tied. And then finally, what I would say about rural Virginia, we've got an opioid crisis on our hands.
No question about
that
that.
I
So what
have-
would you do?
Yeah, well, I'm a doctor, as you know, and we've been traveling
You're
around
not
the
only from
Commonwealth.
rural Virginia, you're also a doctor.
That's right, pediatric neurologist.
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
Yeah, so we've been traveling around having focus groups. We've talked to educators, talked to providers, talked to law enforcement. But Frank, last year we lost 806 Virginians. This year we've lost over 1,000.
This is
That's 3 a day.
unacceptable.
Unacceptable, and it's something that we all have to wrap our arms around and tackle this challenge.
So you have a message for the state of Virginia, for the people, because you are their spokesperson, the
Yes.
ordinary man in the street, because those people who are struggling and sacrificing, who have a trouble putting the food on the table, a
Yes.
roof on their head.
Absolutely.
And also, you're also interested to bring the new jobs in the state of Virginia, especially
Absolutely.
the Northern Virginia, which
Yes.
has been a breeding ground in terms of the innovations and entrepreneurship and so on and
Yeah.
so forth. My third area is the small business. Obviously, I know Governor McAuliffe has been great in terms of bringing the jobs back here and
Yes.
working with the business community, making it business friendly.
Yes.
Because I live in the state of Maryland, I know how with the competition that you have.
Well, you need to move to Virginia.
Well,
Frank.
I cannot. I'd love to. My question to you, what would you do for the small business also?
Well, I'm a small business owner. I started my business.
Not only you're a doctor
Yes.
in rural Virginia, you're also a small business. What pain and agony do they go through? You want them to be entrepreneur, to get the access to
Absolutely.
the capitals. How do you go about
Absolutely.
solving those problems?
All those things are important. How to get, incorporated. All these things are important. One of the areas that we've really done a lot of work on is with our veterans. I'm a veteran of the United States Army.
I want them to get a job,
8
to be
years.
productive, to
Yes.
be part of the productive part of the workforce in America.
And so we're working with entrepreneurship as it relates to our veterans. we're the first state, Frank, in this country to eliminate homelessness for our veterans. We have the V3 program, Virginia Values Veterans. Our goal was to hire 20,000 veterans by the year 18. We've now gone through 20, past 25, and our goal now is 30,000. So good things are happening in the Commonwealth for our veterans. But to your point, small business that's the backbone of our economy. And so we need to help folks, learn how to be entrepreneurs, how to get started in business. To your point, how to find capital. These are all things. And again, I have experience as a small business owner. I have experience hiring people, keeping them on the payroll, meeting the bottom line. So this is something that I bring to the table as the next governor. And as you know, being the governor of the Commonwealth, you're basically running a business, and that's what we're ready to do.
Well, that's what the Donald Trump sold. He was running a business. He was a businessman. He wants to make the United States government like a business.
Well,
that's not the philosophy you're going to approach.
Don't compare me to Donald Trump. That I'm not. And one of the biggest problems with Donald Trump, he can't tell the truth. I'm a man of my word. I'm an honest person, and that's what we need in leadership.
Okay, so what I hear from you, Ralph, that you're a small business, you come from the rural Virginia.
Yes.
You are a doctor, so you
Yes.
understand the disease and all those things we have. You're really a pro healthcare to make sure everybody is healthy.
Yes.
And also I heard from you in terms of job and economy that you want to build upon.
Yes.
And you also have been a senator.
Yes.
So you do understand the political process in order for you to go out and reach across the aisle to work with them, because we are in this together. This is our country that we love.
Absolutely.
Right? And this is the state of Virginia that you want prosper to be the best it can be.
Yes.
Correct?
Frank, and I'm glad you brought that up. We can agree to disagree in Richmond, but it's all about relationships.
Yeah.
It's about being able to bring people to the table, agreeing to disagree, and then at the end of the day, doing what's in the best interest of Virginia. And you mentioned health care, and there is no more important time to have a physician, a provider at the table that understands the complexity of health care to make sure that all Virginians have access to affordable and quality care. And one of the things that I have fought as hard as I can fight for, and we need to continue to fight for, is Medicaid expansion. Right now, Frank, we are giving over $5 million every day. $5 million every day to surrounding states who we're competing with. We have given over $10 billion away to date. There are also 400,000 working, and I would underline the word working, Virginians who don't have access to coverage. When they don't have access to health care, they end up in the emergency room. We all pay for that.
Right.
So there are no more excuses, Frank. The Affordable Care, obviously in Washington.
So you do subscribe to the notion of the Affordable Care, Obamacare also. No, you want to repair that, you don't want to replace them.
Yes, there's some.
Is that what your message is?
There's some good,
there could be reforms, it could be repaired.
Absolutely. There's some good things about the Affordable Care Act. No more pre-existing conditions.
Yes.
Being able to keep your children on your policy
and
until they're 26.
especially the kids who's under 26.
Access to mental health care.
Yes.
Access to preventive care. Access to women's reproductive care. We can't just pull the rug out from underneath all of these people. So I will admit as a doctor, two things. One, the Affordable Care Act works. Two, there's some things that we can improve upon, but let's bring people to the table and say, how could we make it better? Not just take it away and have nothing
unless
on the table.
they do not really have any plans.
They're
have talking about 7 years,
Frank,
they haven't done anything.
7 years, they've been saying they're going to repeal and replace.
And they haven't done anything.
And with a majority in the House, the Senate, and the President, they can't get anything done, which tells you they're there to play games. They don't care about
They're totally
Americans.
dysfunctional.
Thank you.
So my question to you is, if someone wants to be engaged and involved with your campaign, how do they get hold of you?
Yes.
Number two is, what is the message for you to the audience of Virginian who wants to vote for you?
Yes.
And number three is, your opponents going to talk about abortion and Planned Parenthood and so on and so forth because they want to take it all these out. They don't really care about all these things. That's what at least the media people say. What is the message?
Well, thank you for that. And if anybody wants to get in touch with us, it's very simple, ralphnortham.com.
ralphnortham.com.
And they can get in touch. We have a great team. I'm so proud of I've got a very diverse team that is working hard every day.
It looks like in America.
It looks like America. We're in this to win. That's what we're going to do. And then finally, what I would tell people, the social issues, immigration issues, all of these things are important. At the end of the day, though, what people out there want, they want a job.
Yes.
They want a job that they can support themselves with and their families.
Support their family.
And that's what we're
going to make sure they can stay healthy and they can send the kids to college.
Absolutely.
Education.
And that they can live in safe neighborhoods. We do not need assault weapons in our society. We don't need guns on every street corner. We need responsible gun ownership in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And that's something that I've fought for and I'll continue to fight for.
So what's the message? So if you want to get a vote to the voters, and there's thousands of people watching, what's the message to them is you want to be the next governor because you are qualified and you want to take this thing.
Absolutely.
And you have learned a lot of experience. You want to take it to the next height and make it better, Virginia.
Yep.
What's your message here?
That's great. I appreciate that. And I would tell the people that I grew up in rural Virginia. I have worked hard all my life, but I have had a very blessed life to be able to take care of children and their families, to be able to serve in the United States Army for 8 years, to serve in the Senate of Virginia, and then now as Lieutenant Governor. And I take care of a lot of babies. And when you hold a baby and look into their eyes, you have to say, what is the future of this baby? And they are our future. There is power in every child. So we want to make sure that every one of our babies grows up to be inclusive. We want to make sure that they have a job that they can support their families with. We want to make sure that they have access to affordable and quality health care. And we want to make sure that every child in this Commonwealth has access to a world-class education system. That's what I bring to the Commonwealth of Virginia, and that's why I want to be the 73rd governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And with your help, I ask for your vote and your support on June the 13th. We're going to win that primary, and then we're going to go on, and I need your vote on November the 7th. And we're going to keep what's happening in Washington from coming into Virginia, and we're going to take Virginia to the next level. So thank you for asking me the question.
Sure. And also, Ralph, you didn't allude to the abortion and the
Yes.
Planned Parenthood. They want to cut the Planned Parenthood. What's your
Yes.
thoughts on that before we close?
The decisions such as that need to be made between the woman, her partner, and the doctor. And as I have told people during my career, there is no excuse that a group of legislators, most of whom are men, by the way, should be telling women what they should and shouldn't be doing with their bodies. That needs to stop.
Very good. And
Yes.
as a good example that you'll fight against the hatred and bigotry and
Yes.
the banning, and it's affecting your job, it's affecting the travel in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Absolutely.
A good example of that, Mark Herring, who was Attorney General, stood up and went to the court.
Yes, he
because
did.
we do have a check and balance in our country.
Yes. We have had a great team, Frank. Governor McAuliffe, Attorney General
Yes.
Mark Herring, and myself. We have been a brick wall and made sure that Virginia is going to stay inclusive, that we welcome people to Virginia. Our lights are on, our doors are open, and as long as we keep electing Democrats in Virginia, that's what we're going to do.
Well, thank you very, very much, Ralph,
Thank
and I wish you good luck as you undertake this new and solemn journey.
Thank you, Frank. It's a pleasure being here with
Yeah.
you today.
And this is Frank Islam wishing you a great week.